239, the Fairness and Charitable Gifts Act. Before I begin, I do want to say a special thank you to the member from Provencher for bringing forward this important piece of legislation. It is a good bill and it is an important bill for the Canadian charities. I personally am exceptionally proud to be the seconder of this piece of legislation and will be voting in favour of this private member's bill. To begin, I think it's important to review what this bill does. It makes those donations that are made to a charitable cause receive similar tax treatment as donations made to political parties. I firmly believe that Canadians are generous people. They give freely and willingly of their hard-earned dollars to support charitable causes in which they believe. With these donations, charities and charitable causes do exceptionally good work locally in our communities, across the country, and globally. And from time to time, here in this House, during statements by members during SO31s, we had the opportunity to highlight some of the great charitable work done by charities in our ridings. I was proud to highlight the work of the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of North Wellington a couple months ago, and the hard work that they do in the north part of Wellington to serve young people in our communities. And as a Member of Parliament for a great riding, I often receive invitations to a number of charitable events, supporting a number of different research funding opportunities, whether it's for research into deadly diseases or opportunities to help combat and raise awareness of violence against women. And just last month, Madam Speaker, I was driving through the north part of Perth County, driving through the small town of Moncton, Ontario, and came across a group of 3 young kids hosting a lemonade stand. They were raising funds for the Canadian Red Cross to help those who've been displaced by the wildfires in Fort McMurray. That's the type of charitable giving and charitable opportunity that I want to see expanded across our country. And in the same vein, Madam Speaker, I was pleased to learn that a grade 2 class in my riding, the grade 2 class at Central Perth Elementary School, Mrs. Ingalls Eckmeyer's class, themselves were raising funds for the Canadian Red Cross and for helping those who have been displaced by the wildfire. They hosted a bake sale. But just raising that money alone wasn't enough for them. They wanted to do more. So they took to social media. They used the hashtag KidsHelpYMM and issued a challenge to neighboring schools across the region to do their part as well to help raise funds for this important cause. In Stratford, we had the House of Blessing. They helped to provide food and shelter and clothing to those in need. Florence and Norman Kale founded the House of Blessing more than 33 years ago. And they founded it on the simple motto and simple purpose to serve those who are hurting and in need. We have so many great organizations and charitable causes in all of our ridings, and it's incumbent on us as parliamentarians to support them in any way in which we can. They struggle to raise funds, and yet they persevere. And I've heard from a number of constituents across my riding writing in support of this bill. One constituent from Arthur in the township of Wellington North wrote, "I kindly ask you to consider supporting this bill, as it will be beneficial for many charities in Canada." Another constituent from St. Mary's wrote, "I want to let you know that I am in favour of this bill. Charities rely on donors, and I believe that this will encourage more people to donate." And from Mount Forest, a constituent wrote, "I urge you as my Member of Parliament to help all charities with your support of this bill." Madam Speaker, this bill has support among the constituents of Perth Wellington, and I think you will find that this bill has support across Canada. And often when you ask an individual why they don't donate, often the challenge is they can't afford it. This bill, however, will encourage those people to donate for the first time, encourage those who already donate to donate more. It will increase the size of tax credits available, and makes it more affordable for those who want to donate more. Madam Speaker, I think Canadians would be surprised when they learn that the tax treatment of charitable donations is so different from that of political donations. It does not reflect our values as Canadians, and Canadians do not believe that funding political parties should be more important and more lucrative than funding charitable causes. Bill C-239 is an important step forward in supporting the many great charitable causes in Canada and making the Income Tax Act more fair. By increasing the value of tax credits given to Canadians for charitable donations, this House can do tremendous good for our country. Raising the value of tax credits for charitable donations has several benefits. First, it lowers taxes for Canadians who choose to donate their hard-earned money to support charitable causes. I believe that every member of this House would agree that we as a Canadian Parliament should reward those who donate to charitable causes. Second, it increases the likelihood that Canadians will donate to charities, and we've seen how this has worked in the past. In 2013, our former Conservative government introduced the first-time donors tax credit. In that year, we saw an increase of almost $100,000 Canadians donating to registered charities for the first time in 6 years. Third, increasing the size of tax credits for charitable donations make it more affordable for Canadians who already donate. A simple example, Madam Speaker, donating $200 to a charitable cause such as the Canadian Cancer Society or the Alzheimer's Society would provide an average Canadian a tax credit of about $30. Under this new bill, that same donation will receive about a $150 tax credit. That donor can now provide that difference of about $120 they can donate to the same charitable cause or to other charitable causes that they might see fit. It gives more benefits to Canadians in their donations. And that leads me to my fourth point, Madam Speaker. This bill will increase donation revenues for charitable organizations and charitable causes and enable them to further the good work that they do in all of our communities. Charitable organizations are an incredibly effective and efficient way to deliver help to those in need. In my own experience, I have often found that charities are more efficient often in delivering services than government. Governments ought not always be the default source of services to Canadians. Governments should provide services when the private sector or the nonprofit sector has challenges in doing so. The recent example of the Fort McMurray wildfires shows the way in which we as a country and the government relied on the charitable causes to the Red Cross to help deliver services to those in that region. Madam Speaker, this bill will enable charities to provide more services to more Canadians and more people in need. The Fairness and Charitable Gifts Act is good for charities. It is good for donors and it's good for government. And it will fix an unfair double standard in the Income Tax Act. My colleague from Provencher put it best. Feeding a politician should not be more important than feeding a family. Madam Speaker, I'm extremely proud to support this bill. Thank you.